All right, welcome back to the 7-week Jumpstart Challenge. I'm so excited to be here today. Today is all about knowing your numbers, one of my most favorite subjects. This is a big one. This is one that we're going to invest some time in. And the one thing I do promise you is by the end of this training, you will have a good idea of what it's going to take for you to hit your goal. And the biggest challenge, the big success work for today is for you to decide what that's going to be for you. And we're going to help you out. So we're going to go ahead and share the screen because I want to go ahead and get this thing jump started. Hold on. All right, welcome back. We're going to hit play. I think everybody can see that. Yeah, you guys good? Cool. So the 5 most important areas that create clarity, growth, and success. Today is financial goals. Okay. We're going to dive a little bit deeper in what financial goals are. Now, if you remember on the last training, we went through all 5 areas and I had you rate yourself. Right? There was the scorecard, the real estate scorecard, where you should have rated yourself. So I don't know where you were in financial goals. Were you a 2? Were you a 5? Were you an 8? But we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the financial goals and knowing your numbers. Wow. There's so much power in knowing your numbers, because have you ever heard that the truth shall set you free? Have you ever heard that numbers don't lie? They don't. And that's why I think so many people are scared of numbers, is because it speaks the truth, right? It's not easy to write down, it's not easy to admit that you're going broke, right? It's not easy to admit that you're spending more than you're taking in. It's difficult to look at a number that you've never made before and go, I don't know if I can do that, right? There's so many mindset factors to this. Our goal is to help you get comfortable with the numbers and understand that this is not judgment. See, numbers aren't right. They're not wrong. They're not judging you whether you're good or bad. They're just the truth. Well, as long as you write down the correct numbers, you've got to also be truthful with yourself. And so throughout this process, I want you to continue to think that the reason that this is one of the main areas is because of how powerful it is and because it's truth. So again, clarity, where do you want to be financially? Hold on, I'm going to change this. This is the craziest thing that I cannot see. Oh, perfect. Where do you want to be? Who do I need to become in order to earn the money that I want to earn? And what do I need to do? What are the action steps? Just like last week at the end, we're going to have our checklist. Do not get behind with that checklist. It's super important. There we go. Oh, I can at least see Vivian. That's cool. What's up, Vivian? I see you. And so clarity, growth, and success, that's the process we're going to go through. And we're going to start with, where do you want to be? Okay. So what does your financial freedom look like? Like, when was the last time you thought about financial freedom? What it would feel like? And are you consistently focusing on it? Like, do you actually have set time every week to look at that, to live in it, to feel it? Because you get what you are, you don't get what you want. I'm going to rephrase that. See, you're getting exactly what you are right now. And the reason you're not getting what you want is because as long as you keep wanting, you're never going to get. You have to become. And so having a really clear picture of where you want to go, of what financial freedom means to you, because success means different things to different people. Would you agree? Right? You want a different level of success that I want. You believe in a different level of success than other people. But in order to continue to break through the levels, one, congratulations, thank you for being here. Because just the fact that you showed up, just the fact that you've said, you know what, I want to get better. I want to grow. I want to become. That, just so you know, that sets you apart from 90% of the people. Most people, there are people that signed up for this course that didn't even show up. Like, could you imagine that? Signing up for something and saying, I'm all in, and then not showing up for it? How do you think that does to your psyche? Like, you're basically telling yourself you're not capable. You're lying to yourself. And remember, numbers don't lie. So what are we going to focus on? First one, I'm financially stable. I have a plan for my financial future, and I'm ready for new opportunities. How are you doing here? Again, this is not about right or wrong. It's just about scoring yourself and looking at each of these statements and saying, okay, how can I grow this over the next 3 months? How can I grow this over the next 30 days? What would it look like to feel financially stable? What kind of plans could I put in place for my future? And am I ready for those new opportunities when they pop up? How many of you have ever had a new opportunity? All the time, you guys, there's opportunities everywhere, but are you ready for it? I can't tell you how many times I missed on an opportunity because I wasn't financially prepared for it, right? Like, how many of you have ever, we're all in real estate. And if you've done any sort of amount of real estate long-term, you've had that one deal where, man, I wish I could buy this house, right? Or I wish I could go in and flip this home. What do we need to do to get you prepared for that? The second, I know my numbers and understand what actions and skills it will take to achieve my dream lifestyle. Once you know your numbers, now you can define the actions that it's going to take to hit those targets. And then you have to determine the skills that you need. One of the things that I think a lot of agents don't realize, because I don't think they realize the value of tracking your numbers. I'm going to show you today the reason that I've been so good at raising my conversion ratios and getting better and better and better is because I tracked my numbers and I knew exactly what arena, what area of my business I needed to build my skills, whether it was communicating, whether it was listing presentations, whether it was how to communicate with people on the phone, how to smile really big when making phone calls. Like, these are the things that, how cool would it be to know what skills most important for you to work on right now? I don't know about you, because I know for me, like, if I just have somebody who tells me, like, listen, if you did better in this, if you learned this, it would grow your business by 20%. I'd be like, dude, I'm in. You can have that gift. If you track, if you know your numbers, you can understand what actions and skills it will take to achieve your dream lifestyle. The next one, my financial success matches the time and effort I put into my business. How many of you think you're putting in enough time into your business? I'm trying to get everybody's picture because I can't see everybody and I don't like it. Oh, and I just went the wrong way. Hold on, we're going back. Play. My financial success matches the time and effort I put into my business. Do you really believe you're putting in enough time? If you're brand new in real estate, it's going to take a lot more time and effort to create the momentum that you need. When you have momentum created, guess what? You don't have to put as much effort in. There's kind of a more of a maintenance issue that, or a maintenance thing that you can get into, and then you start stacking and adding. But here's the thing is that I will tell you that your time and effort does match your success. The amount of time you're putting in right now does equate to how much money you're making. The amount of effort that you're putting into your business does match your current success. See, we talked about this last week about the formula for manifesting your vision. And the formula is your thoughts turn into your words turn into your actions, and then your actions is consistency. The consistency in time of your actions, that if you do the same action over and over again, you're eventually going to get a result. If you have 100 conversations a week, every week for a year, do you think you're going to do some real estate business? You should be shaking your head. Yes. In your mind, the answer is yes. So why aren't we doing it? And what can we do to do better at it? Maybe you're only having 5 conversations a week. Cool. Let's do 10 next week. Let's start adding a little bit more time and effort into your business that matches the success that you're striving for. And I am getting paid what I deserve. We're always getting paid what we deserve. And I'd like to add a little bit to this called deserving effort. You're getting what you deserve based on the effort you put in. Does that make sense? You guys, this is about opening your mind. All right. This is about helping you have that aha moment of like, oh my goodness, I probably should be doing better at this, or I really need to focus on growing this. How cool. Here's what's really cool. You don't need to grow all of these at the same time, but just imagine if you did one extra action step every week to help you move towards your goal. If you put in just a little bit more time every single week, because we're all on different paths here. Some of you are beast. Like some of you are, I work 8 hours a day and I'm ready to go. And some of us have families and other things going on. And we're like, we just want 1 hour of productivity, right? Just give me 1 hour of productivity, God, please. Where are you at? And what can we do to grow and expand that a little bit? I feel comfortable that I'm doing my best to take care of those I'm financially responsible for. One of the really cool questions in the journal as we kind of end this vision for financial goals is this: besides you, who are you doing this for? I'm going to repeat that. Besides you, who are you doing this for? You know, next week is all about your why and purpose. And if you're lacking the motivation, or if you're choosing not to be motivated, then I would highly suggest think about when you wake up every day, who are you fighting for? Like, who's going to benefit from your success? Because it's not just you. I'll tell you right now, like there's no level of success that you will ever be satisfied. You will always, once you get the bug for wanting more, you're always going to want more. It's just the way it is. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But why are you doing it? Who are you doing it for? And are you comfortable you're doing your best? Again, this is that opportunity where you look in the mirror and you go, you know what? Like, so for me, my big purpose, my big why is legacy. I want to leave a legacy for my family. My father passed away about 2 years ago, left me nothing, like zilch, which is fine. Like, it's okay. I don't need anything. But like, when I think about my kids and when I pass away, I'm like, man, what kind of legacy can I leave for them? I mean, and nothing is, we're not just talking about money, right? We're talking about knowledge, beliefs, ideas, financial opportunity, right? Like the goal is not to leave your kids $10 million and hey, good luck. You know, they need to also become the people that know how to manage financial. I don't know about you, but kids are really important to me. It's always kind of like, okay, how can I give them a better opportunity than I had? Does that make sense? Cool. So we're going to jump right in to how do I know what the numbers are, AJ? Like, I don't know. All right, check this out. You guys are going to love this. We're going to hit hopefully I can hit stop share here. What numbers matter the most? I think if I hit this, boom, that's fantastic. Hi, I wanted to see all your beautiful faces again. What's up, Rich? You're here. Oh, we got this. Keith's here too. Sweet. See, like I just seriously, I don't know how to use Zoom where I can see everybody and train at the same time. I'm like basically talking to a screen, looking at myself. Okay, second tip of the day. If you're ever, when you're making phone calls, this is gold, you guys. First, it's the smile. Keith, did you hear the smile thing earlier? No? So one of the things I used to do when I was cold calling, when I was first building my business, is when I would call people, I would try to get my mouth to go to my ears. I try to smile as big as I can, because when I smile really big, it's kind of like a lot better than me sounding like this, right? So like it sounded a little more happy. The energy was good. The other thing I used to do is that whenever I was on the phone, I would imagine the person in front of me. Like they used to train that you look in a mirror when you're calling, like back in the old school, like look in the mirror and look at your face and stuff. But I would actually picture the person in front of me when I was talking. Huge, valuable thing. So when you're making calls, you guys, picture that the person's in front of you. Utilize your facial expressions, your tonality. Like that's kind of, it's like next level communication stuff. All right, so knowing your numbers. How many of you would like to know what numbers matter the most? How many of you want to know how to make over $200,000 a year? Does that sound good? Yeah, cool. Oh, like Arian was like, I'm in on that. 200,000, I'm in. That's hilarious. All right, hold on. We're going to share this with you guys. Share screen. All right. So now here's the really cool thing is that all of you have a copy of this now. You'll have this forever. Okay. You guys can see this, right? Cool. The only person I see is Antonella right now. So I'm going to I'm gonna need you to help me out with this. All right. So you guys have this. You can use this forever. Okay. The goal right now is that you need to lock in your number for next year, meaning that part of your success work is choose the number that you want to have in a 12-month period by the end of next year, December 31st. This number will be different for all of you. You want to pick a number that you believe is possible, that's realistic, and then you want to bump that number up about 20, 30%. Okay. Because the reason that we have stretch targets is because if you're doing the work you need to do this week in order to hit that target, you're setting yourself up for success for the next year. Like we always want to be stretching ourselves a little bit, okay, to see what's possible. So check this out. On here, everything except for the commission you can change. Okay, there's all these greens you can change. So for right now, I've got, this is to set up to where we'll do 35 transactions a year. All right, 35 transactions a year puts you over 200,000 a year. There's a reason I have 35 here. I'm not going to tell you guys why, but there's a reason that I wanted to set this as the baseline, because this will put you in the top, I think, 15% of agents in the country, somewhere right around there, 10 to 15%. Now, here's how we fill this out. And so again, this will be different for each and every one of you. And my promise for those of you that are on here that are live, I do promise this: if you ever want to sit down and talk about this separately, I will be happy to do that with each and every one of you. Okay. So the first one is 12 months. You're going to work 12 months out of the year, but you want to take a little time off. So I've got 46 weeks that you're going to work. I don't know about you, but 6 weeks off a year, you think 3-day vacations, all that good stuff. The average commission right now is probably about 2.5% with the changing market. Typically it runs about 2.8, but again, you kind of have to decide what fits for you. Commission split I have at 90%. So depending on what company you're with, right, this commission split will be a little bit different, but 90% I think is a good average depending on where you are. And then I have 10 million in sales here. All right. So like, for instance, if you want to change this to 5 million in sales, you just change it and it changes all the numbers. Cool. See, that's 17 deals a year. That's over $100,000. Now, here's the cool thing is this commission does put into effect the commission split. So that's what you would walk away with before your expenses. All right. Hold on one second. I'm going to go back to 10 million. I think it was 600. I did 10,600,000. Yep. 35 transactions. Awesome. So the other thing you'll put is the average home price. So some of you, right, if you're working luxury market, you can change this to $1 million per home. If it's 150,000, whatever the average home is that you're selling or it's in your market, you just put that in there. And then you'll choose how often are you the listing agent compared to the buyer's agent. I would say if you're brand new, 50-50 is a really good number. Okay. If you're brand new and you're not focused on 100% listings right now, do 50-50. I was 50% for a few years before I ended up becoming 75% sellers eventually. Okay. 50-50. Now, here's the little tricky part. The tricky part is over here with the conversion ratios. Now, I literally did this for almost 8 years. 8 years I did this and I tracked my numbers. What happens is that once you do this for a 12-month period, you will have the real numbers, but you have to guesstimate now. And I highly suggest and I highly urge you to make these numbers worst case possible. Because when I made this worst case possible, there's a reason I like to start October 1st. Now we're a little bit behind, but that's okay. The reason I like to start October 1st is because the way these numbers work is that if you do these numbers for 12 months, you're pretty much guaranteeing that sales volume the next 12 months. Okay. You have to be patient. You have to be consistent. You have to be willing to do the work without getting the results on the front end. That's what a lot of real estate coaches and trainers do not teach you. They don't help you guys understand that if you just keep doing the work, the results will come because the numbers don't lie, but you have to understand how the numbers work. I've seen this proven over and over and over again for the people that choose to go on this journey. And I will tell you that I've taught this to probably at least hundreds of people, and a handful of people have accepted the challenge, but every single one of them did more than their original goal within 18 months. I think Rick's on here. Rick started doing this. He was doing a really good job, but he did more the first year than he was expecting. Because here's what's so cool. Imagine 6 months into this and you've tracked your numbers and you realize that, well, here, I'm moving ahead of myself. We're going to go right back to that. So conversion ratios. These conversion ratios, you'll be able to play with a little bit. It depends on who your sources are, who your relationships are. If you're doing buyer leads and you're paying them online, you're looking at a 1 to 4% conversion ratio. I'm just going to tell you, like, that's the conversion ratio. If you're working your sphere of influence, your conversion ratio will be higher. So I will convert this percentage of seller leads to a listing appointment. So that means that you get 10 homeowners. Out of the 10, 3 will turn into listing appointments over the next year. That's how that number works. I will convert this percentage of seller appointments into a listing. How good are you? If you go on 10 listing appointments, can you get 5? Can you get 8? Right? These are those conversion ratios we're talking about. And then the percentage of listings that will close. This actually used to be 70%. Now, I have it higher because of where the market's been the last couple of years, but I would bet this is going to lower a little bit at some point. Okay, it's going to take longer to sell properties than what maybe some of you are used to. But that's what's beautiful, is that when you're tracking, you can adjust these numbers instead of guessing. Too many people are guessing, right? You're just hoping the business happens. Or what's even worse is that you invest in something, you're generating leads, it doesn't work for 30, 60 days, and then you quit when you had already created that momentum. Don't quit on you. Don't quit on the numbers. This is one of my top 3 tools that I have ever used. You're getting my top 3. You're getting this one today, and you're getting my tracker, which is one of my other top 3 tools that I've used religiously. Buyers. I will convert this percentage of buyer leads into an appointment. I will convert this percentage of buyer appointments into a contract. I have this low because how many of you were doing multiple offers recently? Right? It used to be where, it was 50%. Now it takes 4 times. I don't know what's going on in Southwest Florida with all the hurricane stuff, but again, we just got to keep adjusting the numbers based on where the market is. And then this percentage of buyer contacts will close 90%. Okay, so conversion ratios, plugging in numbers. Over here is the magic, the blue. It tells you exactly what you need to do per week, per month, and per year. So based on these numbers, in order to do 10 million in sales at 300,000 per home, you have to generate at least 3 seller leads a week. And that's 1 appointment a week. So you have to go on 1 listing appointment a week. Now, here's the thing, is that there are some numbers that are more important than others, okay? If you find out you're getting more appointments based on less leads, then we can adjust this down the road. But appointments are stronger than leads. Would you agree? Going on appointments is stronger than just getting leads. But if you're not getting appointments, you need more relationships. And you need 1 buyer appointment per week. That's 2 appointments per week. Now we're talking about earning over $200,000 a year. Do you think 2 appointments a week is possible? Yeah. Here's what's really fun. I love doing this with brand new people. Hold on, I'm going to show you guys something, especially if you guys are building a team. This is a really good starting number for people is 5 million. Look at 5 million in sales is 17 closings. That's 1 appointment a week. If you woke up on Monday morning and you said, the only thing I need to do this week is get 1 appointment, how am I going to do it? Is that a different way of walking into your week? Literally, that's what you, okay, well, I don't have any appointments scheduled. I don't have anyone to call. So I need to create some relationships. How do I create relationships? You guys, this is the way that you need to be thinking, and this is how you can plan those action steps that are most important. Because if you want to get paid, you need closings. In order to get closings, you need contracts. In order to get contracts, you need listings or buyers. In order to get listings or buyers, you need to have relationships. And it's constantly creating, building, and maintaining exceptional relationships. Let me jump back to the 10 million here, because I just want to show you like the simplicity of this. And what's so crazy, here's what's really wild. Over 300,000. All you do is bump that up from 2 appointments to 3 appointments a week. So what's really cool is that as you're building your business, you can start playing with these numbers and figure out what's going to be the best fit for you. But let's stick to this 10 million. That's 1 million. That doesn't work. And now we're writing it in the wrong box. Just so excited. 2, 3. Okay, cool. So you need 2 appointments a week, 8 appointments per month, and you need 23 listings and 16 buyer contracts to get 35 closings. Now, wherever every one of you are, by the end of this week, your challenge is to have this complete, is for you to lock in your numbers. And here's why. Whatever number you lock in, you are not allowed to change for 6 months. Don't do it. Don't change it. Don't lower it. Don't raise it. Just stick with the numbers for 6 months. And then you're probably like, well, how do I track it, AJ? I don't even know, like, how do I know if I'm on track? Well, you know what the beautiful thing is? It's right here for you. Every single week, you're going to plug in your numbers. You're going to plug in how many seller leads did you get? How many listing appointments did you go on? How many listings did you get? And I'm here to tell you, for some of you, you're going to put 0 in for a little while. And that's okay. It's okay. Can you do better next week? See, what happens is you get really tired of putting 0 in after a couple weeks, and you get either fired up or you quit. There's no quitters here. We don't quit anymore. The reason that you are on this training, the reason you're watching this video, is because there's a part of you that believes. Some of you are fired up. Like I know a few of you, like some of you guys are fired up and you're just ready to rock. And you're like, okay, let's move on. Let's get to the good stuff. This is the good stuff. This is one of the ways that I was able to grow my business every single year. Listen, I'll break it down to you so that you guys know exactly what I did. You want to know how I know this? Is because I know my numbers. The first 12 months I was in business, in 2009, I got into real estate. Average home price was $75,000. I sold 12 homes in my first 6 months doing nothing but cold calling. I had no sphere of influence. I had no money. All I did was sit on a phone for 6 months, legit. The next year, I was on the phone again for a year. I did start some internet marketing, but it was not doing anything for me the second year. So I did $1 million in sales. It sounds crazy. Like I'm like excited about $1 million in sales. Nowadays, that's nothing. But you know, again, the average home being $75,000, like it was a much different world back then. My first full year in the business, I did 2.5 million in sales. So I did $1 million in my first 6 months, 2.5 million my first full year. And I'll give you what I did each year after that. 2.5 million, 3.5 million, 5 million, 7.5, 10, 12.5, 15. And then I built a business that did $100 million in sales per year in 1 year. That was my progression. You guys can do that as well. It takes knowing your numbers. It takes knowing what decisions to make. Here's the other cool thing is at the end of the year, when you look back and you're like, okay, how did I get my business? Like I sold 35 houses. What worked, what didn't? How cool would it be to know what to take away? You know, what's really fascinating is there was 1 year that I was spending $1,000 a month on this one system, and it was the worst system I had. So what did I do? I shut it off. I gave myself a $12,000 raise the next year. Like, the only reason I knew how to make those decisions is because I knew my numbers. And again, for those of you that are live on here right now, I will answer any question for you. I will support you in any way to help you get through this, because this is a new habit. This is a new way of thinking and looking at things. And this will be difficult to do in the beginning, but it is so worth it if you just put it into play. Like literally all you have to do is track. Here, I'm going to show you guys something here. Let me stop sharing this one. Oh, there's still some people here. What's up, Rick B? Hold on one second. Let me pull this out. Here it is. This is the other document. You guys see this? This relationship tracker? Cool. So for years, people used to challenge me. They'd be like, where's the tracker? Where's the tracker? I used to carry this in my back pocket. I'm actually starting to use it again, because now that I'm getting back into, right, creating, building, and maintaining relationships, I go back to the tools that I know that work. And so this is something you will print out every single week, okay? And all you're going to do is check freaking boxes, people. It's not that difficult to check a box, all right? And so what you're going to do is you're going to start on the bottom. Once you lock in your numbers, you're going to write these down every week. There's a reason for this. It's not just to do it for the sake of doing it. You are creating the future in your mind by making it real, by writing it down, okay? And you have to write it down every single week until you believe it. So for those of you who don't know me well enough, I do struggle with overwhelm, anxiety, stress. I'm just like you. I got the same shit that happens in my head. But what I know is that if I can change the trajectory, if I can prove myself wrong, if I can plant a new seed in my mind, I know that I can create a new reality, because I've done it over and over again. By putting in these numbers that you already believe and committed to, that you're radically passionate about, by writing it down every week, you will figure out a way to get there. But you've got to give yourself that time and give yourself that grace. You do also need to motivate yourself and push yourself. So on the bottom, after you have your numbers, you'll know how many listings you need for the year, how many buyer contracts you need for the year, and how many closings you need. And it's going to start off 0 of whatever the number is, 0 of whatever the number is. And each week, right? Each week, if you get a new closing, you get a +1. If you get a new listing, you get a +1. If you don't get anything, it just stays the 0 until you get that +1. Again, there's a specific reason for this that works over a long period of time. Now, we're going to fill out your attempts. So I hope all of you have accepted the cell phone challenge, or you're accepting the challenge of talking to people. If you call 10 people in a day, you check off 10 boxes. Now, attempts, let me help you guys. There's lots of ways to communicate. There's phone, there's text message, there's social media, there's face-to-face, there's phone, social media, face-to-face, text messaging. I think that's it. Maybe there's another one I can't think of. They all count. So if you decide that you're going to go and clean up your social media platform and you send 10 messages in one day, that's 10 attempts, okay? Now, we talked about having conversations. Create, build, or maintain contacts is when you have a conversation about real estate. And so if you send out 10 messages and you have 2 conversations, then you can check off 2 boxes here, okay? Those are the contacts, people you actually have a back and forth conversation with. Now, if you're cold calling, I'm gonna use this as an example, and you call and say, hey, this is AJ with such and such realty. I was just calling to see if you want to buy our home or whatever. And they're like, no, and they hang up. Well, that was a contact. They weren't a yes. They were a not now, okay? New relationships. Here's how you qualify a new relationship. They have to go into your CRM. A new relationship is somebody that you think will do business with you anytime in the future that goes into your CRM, paid or not paid, okay? So if you're paying for leads, they go in your CRM, they count as a relationship. And then appointments, very simple, right? Appointments is a seller appointment, or you put somebody in your car, or you meet them in a house. That counts as an appointment. Okay. Now, I know I'm jamming a ton of information with you. Hold on, I'm going to stop sharing this so I can see everybody. I know I just jammed a ton of information at you. Okay. You don't need to do this all today. Over the next week, you've got a checklist, and we're going to jump back into the slide deck. I just want to see everybody real quick. Do yourself a favor and lock in your number first. Take 24 hours, start filling out that spreadsheet, plug in some sales numbers, and here's how you qualify if the number is the right number or not. One, you believe it's possible. You have to believe it's possible. If you don't believe it's possible, you're going to give up. The second qualifier is you need to be radically passionate about it. Like, you need to be so excited about that sales goal, about that number that you're going to put in your pocket. You need to be so excited about it that you're willing to go through the struggle. Does that make sense? Because if the number is the right number, it's going to be challenging. You're going to be tested. You're not going to want to do it every single day. You're going to have to find a way to make it happen. It needs to be something you're passionate about. It needs to be something that you believe is possible. I want you to start with the number that's comfortable. All of you have a comfortable number, okay? Meaning that you already know for a fact there's a certain number you can do, right? Whether it's sell 4 homes in a year or sell 40 homes in a year. Like, I know what my comfortable number is every year. And how do I know it? Because if you do it the year before, if you've already done it, then you know you're going to probably do it the next year if you keep doing the same thing. Make sense? Like, if I sold 5 million last year and I keep doing the same thing, I'm probably going to sell 5 million again. But that's the easy number. That doesn't get anybody excited. I mean, maybe it gets some people excited, but if your goal is to continue to level up in real estate, then level up in real estate. Because I'm here to tell you that it's very easy to do 1 extra sale a month. It is, in my opinion. It doesn't take a lot of extra effort and work to do 1 more sale a month. You just got to sit down and make the plan. So come up with your goal. After you come up with your goal, you're going to print this weekly tracker and you're going to fill out the bottom of it. All right. And start using it. If you have questions, join the Realpreneurs table, like post a question, post a video. Laura Lee reaches out to me. I'll answer her back. Like, you guys, you've got to take the initiative to reach out. If I don't want to talk to you, I won't respond to you right away. But I promise I'll get back to you at some point. Like, just reach out. There's help here. There's a lot of really amazing real estate agents here, by the way. You guys just don't know each other yet. So it's possible. Let me jump back because there was more stuff on here. Hold on one second. Let me see here. What do I got going on? Dun, 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 dun. Actually, before I end this with the platform, I have a question for everybody. No, I'm going to jump back to it real quick. Here we go. That is not what I wanted. You guys see this okay? Yeah, I'm guessing so. So what numbers matter the most? It's important to understand these numbers, okay? How do I know if I'm on the right path? Well, you track it. You track it. If you call me and say, oh gosh, like, oh, here's a great example. Hold on, I'm gonna have a little coffee here. My wife's been like staring at me from across this table here for, oh, she's coming back in. She's so distracting. Have you seen her? She's so beautiful. I'm like, I can't keep my eyes on here. All right, focus. So how do you know you're on the right path? So here's what's really cool. When I had my own brokerage and I was training new agents that would come work with me, we would do this. I literally would show them the numbers and we would come up with how they were going to create business, and they would start tracking their business, and it never failed. It'd be like 30 days in, 45 days in, and they come over and they're like, AJ, it's not working. It's not working. Why am I not getting any business? And I'm like, let me see your numbers. And so here's what would happen is one of 2 things would happen. One, they'd be like, well, I didn't track my numbers. I'm like, well, then I don't know what's not working. How am I supposed to know how to help you if I don't have the information? How are you supposed to help yourself if you don't have the information? How do you know you're on track? How do you know you're off track? Or the other thing would happen is they would come to me in like 30 days and they're like, look, I've made all these calls and I'm creating all these relationships, but I don't have any business. I'm like, yeah, because it's a process. Relationships turn into appointments will turn into deals, but it takes time. See, here's the thing is that the reason I try to help people understand that you will see results less than a year. I'm just telling you, if you do this, you'll see results in 3 to 6 months. You will. But I want you to get it wrapped around your head that if you do this for 12 months, you are almost guaranteeing yourself that money for the next 12 months because it's upfront loaded. Because what happens is that if you're putting in worst case scenario, we're also not counting the referrals, the past clients, the extra business that you get that you're not even pushing towards. Like that's how I was able to, I think pretty much I grew anywhere from 20 to 150% every year. It was kind of like this range depending on what level you're at and what you're doing. But you got to know the numbers. The struggle is real though, right? I don't know where all of you guys are at right now, and I want to make sure we are going to do Q&A as soon as I'm done with this. I'm going to stop recording and do live Q&A because I want to answer your questions. I want to help you guys if there's a struggle that you're having right now, a challenge, and I want to make sure that when you commit to this, that you keep your promise to yourself. But I get that it's tough, and you got to continue to ask yourself powerful questions, not only to yourself, but learning how to ask powerful questions to buyers and sellers is a huge part of real estate as well. What's stopping you? What's stopping you from the deserving effort? What's stopping you from taking action, from putting in the time, from realizing your financial dream? Because I'm here to tell you, like, legitimately in real estate, you can make 100 grand a year, 200,000 a year, 300,000 a year. I've seen it. I've done it. Like, consistency and doing it over and over and over again, you can get there. What is your biggest financial struggle right now? This is for you guys. So there's a business aspect to this and a personal aspect to this, right? Because your mindset's really important here. You have to be careful what you're saying to yourself. If you keep saying I'm broke or I can't afford it, then guess what? You're going to continue to be broke and you're going to continue not to afford it. You've got to play a game with yourself. But you have to start with acknowledging the issue, acknowledging the negative thoughts, the negative voice. And we want to start tackling the biggest things. So if there's a certain financial struggle you're having right now, define it, say it out loud, get it out there, and use that as inspiration to do the work you need to do. Because the confidence that you will build as you continue to tackle those things one-on-one will be huge for you, especially in creating momentum. How much debt do you have? Like, these are legitimate personal questions that when you're thinking about financial goals and knowing your numbers and what's most important, like maybe that's your target. I don't know, maybe you've got a $10,000 student loan and it would feel amazing for you to pay that off. Maybe that is your motivation, right? And what does financial freedom look and feel like to you? Clarity, a clear vision, a clear idea of where you want to be. And I'm reading this new book, Feelings. Oh, I'll get it to you guys. It is amazing. But you want to feel it. Feelings are more powerful than just thinking about something. When you attach a feeling to it, you attach your subconscious to it. And when your conscious and your subconscious align, that's when magic really happens. The problem is that we're feeding our subconscious negativity and it's deciding what it's doing for us. So when you think about what financial freedom looks like, I also want you to think about what it would feel like. Emotions are a lot more powerful than what we realize. Success work. Nothing happens until you take action consistently. I don't know how many of you guys completed your checklist last week. I hope all of you did. If you didn't, figure out a way to do it this week. You guys have got to do the work. And so here's the checklist for this week. 1, same thing as last week, a minimum of 25 real estate conversations this week, a minimum. Okay. That's minimum. You can do 50 if you want, 75. Like, don't stop at 25 if you do it in 2 days. Please don't do that to yourself. But you need to hit a minimum, especially if you're not doing anything right now. Lock in your 12-month sales goal. Did you see how I did 12-month sales goal there? Like, whenever I set my 12-month sales goal, it was like, I don't care when I do this, I'm going to do it. Like, I don't care when I make 250,000, I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep doing the work until I get there. And it usually happens sooner than that if you're doing the work hardcore. Start completing your weekly relationship tracker and complete your journal. There's a journal that's attached to your worksheet that is going to be something that you're going to want to either do in the morning or at night, so that it's something that starts helping you gather the information you need, the inspiration you need, the motivation, and kind of help you have a clearer picture of what needs to happen. And be vulnerable, be truthful. Like, that's where the real power comes in, is when you're honest with yourself, because it is the truth. You're in the position that you're in because of who you are and the decisions that you've made. And listen, that's okay. What are you going to do about it? You know, I think Laura Lee reached out about how to build wealth. And, you know, it's just, again, a great question, right? Like, what if you invested the next 12 months learning about how to become wealthy, reading books, watching YouTube channels? Like, you guys, this is a journey. You know, you're not going to learn everything you need to learn just from one person. This is the jump start. This is to start you in the path of moving towards the new direction that you want to go. And this stuff alone will explode your business in 12 months. I'll tell you right now, like, if you legitimately sat down and did this, you could easily double your business. I'm not guaranteeing that, but based on my own personal experiences, that is true. And then the bonus book this week is The Compound Effect. If you've never read it, or if you have read it, this is a great audiobook. So you can read it or get the audiobook. Darren Hardy's fantastic, but helping you realize that it's the compound effect. It's the small action steps every day that add up over time. And the reason that I suggest this book is because I want you to understand the value of that and how it works, because that's how I work in real estate, is by the compound effect. Small things every day. Shoot one video every day. Make 10 calls every day. It adds up. It stacks. And it gets easier. Let me see here. Next week's our Why and Purpose. Congratulations. We got through Know Your Numbers. But now I want to do a Q&A of Here to Serve. Let me stop sharing this real quick if I can. There we go. Stop sharing. Stop recording.